friends. So we are in the last couple of days of February. And one of my goals for March, besides starting seeds inside, is to get my behind going and get the rest of those things out of the freezer that I froze at harvest time last fall, or even summer, to can during the winter. And it's almost time to start this year's planting for this year's harvest and everything. So my goal for March, besides indoor planting, seed starting, is to get some canning done. So one of the things I'm going to do today, I know it's a couple of days before March, but the very first week of March, I'm going to be really busy because I'm going to be starting a lot of my seeds. But I have this. This is a big bag of frozen beef fat that I have had since the end of, no, I guess it was fall. I got it in the fall. Actually, I think right before Christmas we got it, yes. So from the farm we get our beef from. And I've been wanting to make my own tallow for a couple of things, not just for cooking, but I've been doing a lot of research. Apparently, tallow for lotions is amazing for your skin. There's so many benefits to it. So my plan is to use a small amount for lotion making, and I'm going to really purify that so I can get all the purities and impurities out of it. And then the majority is going to be for cooking and stuff. So this is frozen. And it doesn't matter. And because it's in big chunks still and there's so much of it, I'm going to do it in my big roaster here. You can do it in your crock pot. I know you can cut it up into small cubes and it goes quicker, but I'm in no real hurry for this, so it's okay if this takes all weekend. Like, that doesn't bother me. So it looks really good, actually. Okay, so basically put it in the roaster. Get the lid on, and I guess maybe I'll put it on 250 and we'll see how that does. The only bad thing is that it takes up my counter space all weekend, but that's okay. Make a little bit of room for it. There we go. All right, so there's one thing out of the freezer. The other thing is I'm thawing some apples. Right here. These are all apples that we picked and harvested last year. And I'm going to, and my plan was, when we want to make apple crisp or an apple pie, the apples will be all peeled and ready. What I really should have done was made them already ready for apple crisp, apple pie, adding the sugar, the spices and everything. So I'm going to thaw them all out. I'm going to make a big batch of probably apple crisp. We tend to eat that a lot more than we do pie. And then I'm going to can it. So it's shelf stable, and whenever we want apple crisp, we just go get a jar, put it in our baking dish, and then we'll just add the topping. Apple crisp in like 5 minutes sounds like a good idea to me. So the tallow, I guess it's not tallow till it's done. So the beef fat has been going for a good hour or two. And in my rush to get started and going, as usual, I forgot. I filled up my KitchenAid mixing bowl twice and put with water and put that in there. I remembered about 10 minutes in. So yeah, there's some water in there. So this is what it looks like. It's melting down slowly but surely, and that is fine. It's not even frozen anymore. And yes, it goes much quicker if you chop it up into little pieces. So I kept it on the 250. I guess that's where I'm going to keep it because it seems to like it. So there we go. I'll check on it again in a couple hours. And my apples are just about all defrosted. I just put them in the sink with some water. And I think I have even more apples. I'm going to go look. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact I have more. So I'm going to have to go out to the cold garage, into the cold freezer, and dig them out. So I'm excited to get these off my list. Another snowy day here. I don't know if you can see it coming down here. If I open the door, the chickens are going to come running because they are spoiled rotten. And whenever they hear the door. But yeah, here's our lovely winter wonderland right now. This would be great if it was Yeah, where was this at Christmas? Because we sure didn't have it. So it's actually the next day. It's morning. I turned this down to about 200 through the night just in case. And I've just come downstairs. We're going to see what it looks like. Okay. It's definitely breaking down. Well, it's the next day. I had everything ready to go yesterday to can this apple pie / apple crisp filling. And one of the ingredients is clear gel. I thought I had clear gel. Turns out it was liquid pectin. Not the same thing at all. I don't think clear gel is something you can find here in Canada. I looked everywhere. Yes, Amazon has it, but by the way, it's kind of pricey. I guess because it's such a huge amount. But I needed it, like I got to get going on this. I couldn't wait 2, 3, 4 days for it to get delivered. So we went out today looking for it. I can't find it. And the people I asked, they were like dumbfounded. They've never heard tell of it. So one of the substitutions can be tapioca starch, and I did find that. So I'm finally ready to get started. Yeah, I don't know, my fellow Canadians, is this something you've heard of here? Clear gel. It's a thickener. Let me know, because they don't seem to know what it is here. So we can get started on this. And I am still working on, right there, the beef fat to make into tallow. I will tell you, it is not the most pleasant smelling thing when you go in and stir it. I can't even really describe the smell, but it's not the greatest smelling thing. But I think that's going to be done tomorrow. So we will worry about that tomorrow. So let's get started on our apples. So in this pot, I'm going to put, so this is 5.5 cups of apple juice. And this is apple juice I just strained off of my frozen apples. And 1.5 cups of water. I'm going to get that in there. This is my tapioca starch. And that is 1.25 cups. And this is so much sugar. This is probably a lot more sugar than I usually put in my apple crisp filling, but because it's going to be canned, I'm going to go by the recipe. So it's 5 cups of sugar. Even organic cane sugar, that's still a lot of sugar. And then this is my own thing. I added 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, about half a tablespoon of ginger, and a little less than half a tablespoon of nutmeg. That's what we like in ours, so that's what I put in. And we're going to get this cooking. And in my oven, I have 7 wide mouth quart jars. I washed them all up and got them really good and clean. And I'm just keeping them in there to keep them hot. And I am going to be using my pressure canner, but I'm going to be using it as a water bath canner today. Alright, so we're just going to stir this up. I think it told me basically heat on high heat until it starts to thicken and bubble. Okay, so this is really thickened up. Just going to show you what it looks like. So I am going to, so now I need to add 3/4 cup, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is, of bottled lemon juice. And that needs to cook for about a minute. Sorry if you hear the dryer in the background there. My laundry room is like right there. Right there. Oh yeah, that's much thicker. Well, I guess it worked. Yeah, I have a lot of cornstarch, but cornstarch is not something they really recommend you adding to anything you're going to can. So, yeah, I'm just happy I found that tapioca starch. Just checking the time here, got a few more seconds. It says to cook for a minute once you add the lemon juice, if I didn't already say that. I'm just going to get this I'm just going to get this. It is hot water I have in there, but it's been a while since I put it in, so I just want it to get a little bit warmer. So we're going to be putting hot jars in there. Now it's really thick. Okay. I'm going to turn this down. And I'm going to grab my apples. Here's my apples. I end up getting quite a few out of bags out of the freezer. Altogether, I think it was 12 or 13 quarts. And 12 or 13 quart bags, so, or I should say half quarts. So end up, the recipe calls for 6 quarts, so that's what I have here. Oh. And we're going to give this a stir. We want my apples are a little bit cool still. They were in the fridge all night because I had to stop what I was doing yesterday. So we're just going to have them warm up a bit while the water warms up. Be back when they're ready to go into the jars. Okay, the apples the water is finally hot enough. I can start going. So recipe says 7 quarts. I hope so because that's all I prepared, but this looks like a lot, but we'll see as we get going. And these are big jars. I already made my first mess. Okay, so I'm just going to fill up all these jars and leave about an inch headspace. And then we'll get them into the canner, and I will show you that as soon as I get these filled. Okay, so I definitely got 7 jars, and there's enough there for a little apple crisp for breakfast tomorrow. So that's not a bad thing. So I just have some vinegar here, and definitely got to wipe these rims down. Talk about sticky. I made a little bit of a mess, but like I said, I tend to be a little bit messy sometimes when I can. Make sure I wipe down really good so those seal. And before, all I was doing was taking a skewer and just getting out the air bubbles. Wipe that one down again. There, that's better. My lid's in hot water here. We're going to get them jars lidded up. All right, into the canner they're going to go, and for my altitude, which is under 1,000 feet under sea level, these are going to go in for 25 minutes. Okay, I got my jars in there, so I'm going to wait, and because I'm using my pressure canner as a water bath canner, this is just on here like this, okay? It's not turned and locked. So I'm just waiting for it to come up to boil. And once it starts boiling, then I set the timer for 25 minutes. So because I had some left over, I thought, okay, I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this. So just as how much I had left over, it fit in this glass bread pan. I usually make it like in a bigger casserole dish, but obviously there wasn't enough of that. So I sprayed this really well. I'm going to set that aside. So let me just lower you here so you can see what I'm doing. I have in this bowl about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. It's almost all melted. Doesn't have to be melted all the way. And I'm going to start 1/2 cup of oats. A little less than 1/2 cup of flour, all purpose. and a little less than half a cup of brown sugar, and I don't pack it. I just put it in there loose. I need a spoon. And I never make this the same way twice, so I might need to add a little bit more butter. We'll see how it goes. We kind of call this apple crumble in this house because, or apple cribbler. It's because it's a cross between an apple crisp topping and an apple cobbler topping. Apple crisp doesn't typically have flour, and apple cobbler typically doesn't have oats. But this is what we like. Actually, I think I did pretty good. So that is perfect. So I'm just going to put this on top. And I did taste the filling before I even started canning it, and it was delicious. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven. Since the apples are already cooked a little bit, it's not as big a dish as I normally do, I'll do 20 minutes and we'll see how it is. We don't like the apples really hard. We like them not like applesauce, but definitely soft. So we'll try for 20 minutes. So the timer just went off, or I went off a couple minutes ago. So I've taken the lid off of that. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. And 20 minutes was perfect for the apple crisp. There it is. What I like to do with that in the morning is I actually put a little bit of plain yogurt on top. It's really good, and it helps cut down any sweetness that might be too sweet. So there we go. There is, did I say 12? I think 12 half-quart bags of apples out of my deep freezer. So yay. And tomorrow I will finish up the tallow. We'll see you then. It's been 3 days since I started the beef tallow, and I don't know if it's because I didn't cut it up, but it's still pretty solid. Oh, I shouldn't say it's solid, but there's still like lots of pieces. I am going to start straining it now, and then any of the solids I still have, I'll put them back in. I've watched a lot of videos on rendering beef tallow. Not everybody adds water. So I'm wondering if I shouldn't have added water. But this is what I did, so I got to stick with it. So I'm just going to ladle all this. So I got my big stock pie here. And my nice big strainer. There. And I'm just going to ladle all of this in. So the water is supposed to separate from the oil as it hardens. So we will see. So I'm just going to keep ladling this in until I get it empty, and then I'm going to put the solids that are still here back in. I'll be right back. All right, I got it all strained, so this is what it looks like. And as it hardens, I'll take out the big solid piece, and all the water should just be left. Fingers crossed. I love how I try these things and videotape it all for you without trying it first before putting it on tape. But anyway, that's the whole point, right? So this is what I still had left over. So I've got it turned back on, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to let that, I'm not going to add any more water. And I'm going to let that go. So yeah, and excuse the hot mess. We're on our way to the gym. So, but I wanted to get that done before we left, so it'll have time to harden. I'm going to put a lid on it, And I think I might just put it on our back deck again, like I did with my broth. It's cold enough, and this thing takes up a lot of room in the refrigerator. So I'll see you in a little bit, a few hours, when that has solidified and hopefully things worked the way they're supposed to. So it's been quite a few hours. We went to the gym, came back. Anyway, busy day, but it actually works. So I just want to show you. So I just want to, I goofed a bit. I only wanted some of this to get extra purified for lotion. I should have put a lot of this when it was still liquid right into my mason jars, the stuff I'm going to use for cooking and things. So I'm having to remelt everything again just because I goofed. I should have just kept a little bit out that I wanted to use for lotion, and then the rest could have gone right into baking. Not that big a deal. So I'm going to show you. The water did separate. See, there's a little bit of fat in there, which I am going to try and strain out. So I'm just chunking it up, cutting it into squares, and putting it, now I'm using my crock pot because it takes up a lot less space. And I'm going to re-strain it again. And some of it I am just going to save for lotion. And if I have to restrain it again, no problem. And then the rest will be for baking. So yeah, sometimes my brain thinks too fast and I don't think of what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to get a strainer out and we will see you when it's ready. Monday morning, we're finally going to get this tallow done. So I've had my jars in the oven sterilizing for a while. They are really hot. And we're going to finally get this into my jars. I mean, sometimes I'm just so worried about getting everything recorded that I don't stop and think for a second. So, okay. So, I have my strainer and funnel, and I have a little strainer that I bought. I just got it at the dollar store. Truthfully, I think it's meant to go like in your sink to catch food particles, but it works great for canning. So this saves me from having to, I'm gonna make a mess with this, having to do this in a big strainer. I can just do each individual jar. So yes, it's gonna be yellow, but it will dry white. If you see it will dry like this. Can you see that? So yes, this is shelf stable for, I'm getting a little bit of contradicting research, but it seems like you can keep it on your shelf for months. I've read anywhere, one thing said 6 months, another place said 18 months. I'm not sure. I know if you keep it in your refrigerator, you can have like a long time, 18 months, something like that, in the freezer, and it's like forever. But just in case, I want to leave an inch headspace. I think I'm going to do 2 jars for body butter. Like I said, I did a lot of research on tallow. So, this is what's so amazing about this stuff is like, it's a superfood. It really is. So, tallow in your diet makes it easier for your body to absorb fat-soluble vitamins that help support your immune system. It's rich in nutrients, and it helps you absorb A, D, E, K, and B1. It's been known to reduce inflammation, help protect the body from infection. It's antimicrobial, which helps ward off the infections. It's good for your nervous system. It's high in choline, which is a nutrient that supports your nervous system. It also has healthy fatty acids to protect nerve cells. It even helps burn body fat. Consuming healthy fat stimulates the release of glucagon, the hormone that signals to your body it's time to burn stored fat and use for energy. I'm all for that. And it's known to help, this is what I want to use it for, the body butter. It helps nourish your skin cell membranes, which helps keep your skin smooth. It protects your body from free radical damage. So not only are you avoiding the free radicals that your bodies would have to deal with if you cooked with vegetable oils, but tallow is rich in vitamin E, which protects your cells from free radical damage. The skin, like, it's been known to help with dryness for sure, and it doesn't clog pores, and it's non-greasy, and you only have to use it once a day. That's it, and it stays on and helps. So I'm really anxious to try it for the skin better and to start cooking with. That's why when people say to me, oh, you're so old-fashioned, I don't call it old-fashioned. I call it, people just have forgotten the ways that our great-grandmothers used to know, and how to be self-reliant and how to cook from scratch. It's not something we teach our young women or even boys anymore. We really don't. Everything has become about convenience. I don't consider myself old-fashioned at all. So I'm going to get the rest of these filled, and in a few hours when it's all cool, I'll show you, and I will finally end this tallow making video. While the towel's cooled down, there it is. Can't believe I just made beef tallow. I also forgot to mention one other thing too. It's great apparently for acne, for treating acne. So yeah, I made beef tallow. That's pretty cool. I have to say, making all these things that I've been putting off wanting to learn or do, it's really given me quite a boost of confidence. So I'm pretty excited to try even more things I've been putting off. So there we are, 2 new things this week and a couple of things out of my freezer. I gotta go look in my freezer and pull some more things out. Until then, I thank you for coming along with me on my adventure of trying new things for 2022. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.